Tanks were invented in 1915 by William Foster in Great Britain. They were first used during World War I. However, they were unreliable and many of them became stuck in shell craters and mud. They were developed to break the stalemate that had formed from the use of trenches. The Germans, after seeing the British tanks in the Battle of the Somme, began developing tanks of their own. After the First World War, Germany were making progress on their tanks, despite the Treaty of Versailles, refining them to be the best for the time. In secret, they built the Grosstraktor and the Lichttraktor. Hitler was a huge advocate of the tank, and once he came to power, he ordered all factories and designers to up production on tanks. He also set up the Panzerwaffe's first 3 divisions. As the Germans' technology continued to progress through the war, the Allies began to lose hope of winning. It seemed as if the Allies were going to lose after the raid on Dieppe in 1942. If the Allies were going to succeed with their next attack, at Normandy they would need to step up their game. General Sir Alan Broke decided in 1943 to establish a special unit, the 79th Armoured Division, and assigned armoured warfare expert Percy Hobart, who had been bought out of retirement in 1942 by Prime Minister Winston Churchill, to develop the vehicles and train the crew for use in Normandy. Hobart began production of what came to be known as the Hobart's Funnies in October of 1942. The Hobart's Funnies were a group of modified tanks which were used by the 79th Armoured Division of the British Army and some specialists of the Royal Engineers. Eisenhower believes that the Funnies were a key contributor to the success of the Allies at both D-Day and Normandy. The duplex drive, or the DD tank, was a modified Sherman tank or Valentine tank fitted with a large watertight canvas housing and was able to float and reach shores after being launched from a loading craft 1 kilometre offshore. They were intended to be the first tanks to land on shore during an attack. The Crab was a Sherman tank equipped with a mine flail, a rotating cylinder of weighted chains which would explode mines in the path of the tank. This enabled the following infantry to proceed along its path. The Churchill Avery, or Armoured Vehicle Royal Engineer, were different from other tanks. They were equipped with a petard mortar. They carried and used many pieces of equipment. The Bobbin Avery carried a reel which laid down a 3-metre white canvas cloth so it and other heavy vehicles wouldn't sink in soft ground. It was the only Avery which was amphibious. The fascine was a bundle of wooden planks and rough brushwood lashed together with wires, which was carried at the front of the Avery. It would be released and used to fill in ditches or form ramps. The SBG, or Small Box Girder, is the last of the Averies that we will look at. It was an assault bridge which was carried at the front of the Avery and was dropped to span a 30-foot or 9-metre gap. The Ark, or Armoured Ramp Carrier, was a Churchill tank and had its mortar replaced with extendable ramps at either end. It was designed so other vehicles could drive over its top to scale obstacles. At Sword Beach, 22 of the 25 DD tanks were successful in getting ashore to provide cover for the infantry. This beach was heavily mined and covered in obstacles. The crab was used to clear these. Due to the terrain and the fortifications built by the Germans, by the time of the Allied invasion, they had laid 6 million mines in northern France. If it weren't for the tanks, the Allies would never have been able to defeat the Germans, as the infantry, which suffered many losses, would never have made it off the beaches.